Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. That's right, we're back for another week talking all the latest in sports and entertainment. And I'm joined by co-host Calvin Thomas, co-host Calvin, Justin Beard, and Barbara Harris. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
Cool.
Man,
What's up with you?
it's been a very adventurous last 15 minutes, but we're thankful that you all tuned in today. Sorry for a little bit behind schedule, but we know y'all be waiting for us at 9 o'clock. So we appreciate all the loyal watchers who tune in. Whenever you come across this stream, you might catch it the next day, you might catch it over your weekend, whatever. But the news is still pertinent, the conversation is still lively, and we appreciate all your views and your shares. So be sure to do us a favor. Go on, click on that subscribe, like button, share the show with your friends, your family, and let everybody know that we're talking each and every Wednesday night about all the latest headlines from the world of sports and entertainment. And we got a lot tonight. Traditionally, football season is probably when football meets basketball, meets baseball, meets that around that time is when we have the most to talk about. But for some reason, it's been a lot this week as far as in the world of wrestling. We're going to touch on those things. We're going to touch about sports overall. And that's where we're going to start tonight because, man, if you are a sports fan, things are about to change in many ways in the landscape of sports in this country and how we consume them and the politics behind it. It's just a lot going on, and I'll dive into that in the greater detail in a second, but we shouldn't waste any time. Let's get it right into it. The biggest story, not just of this week, but probably in quite some time when it comes to the world of sports, is the fact that ESPN we already knew a couple months ago it was announced, and there was rumors about this for a while, that they would be coming up with a new application where they will be putting all of their properties on one app where you can purchase that and you don't have to subscribe to ESPN. If you don't have cable, you can buy this and that will still give you all the ESPN properties. You have access to all the NBA games that they broadcast, Monday Night Football, all their football coverage, Sunday Countdown, and of course, there's the big story about Inside the NBA is now going to ESPN, so that will be available on ESPN. But then they made a big move, a splash that really shocked the sports world, and that was ESPN has now purchased the NFL Network. That was a huge move, controversial in many ways because in many ways ESPN is supposed to be a media company where journalists are supposed to be covering the league. So by ESPN purchasing the NFL, that puts them, in many of people's opinion, mine included, in a strange conflict of interest. Because if there's a story that the NFL doesn't want really covered deep, how will they have some type of influence? Pause. Will they have some type of influence to deter the journalists from doing their reporting, to steer away from certain topics, to not dig into some of the scoundrelly and dark and deceitful ways that the NFL has done their business? The whole Colin Kaepernick situation, many of these things about we just talked about Lamar Jackson and his contract situation and the labor negotiations and the collusion stuff about them coming together. That story wasn't covered very, very deeply or very in-depth by the reporters at ESPN. There's no Jeremy Schaap. Adam Schefter didn't go on, an investigative reporting journal, a journey to dig deep on that one. We had to hear about that from people from outside of ESPN's doors. So that's really a conflict of interest that a lot of people are pointing out. And by ESPN purchasing the whole NFL network, they are NFL network. NFL has a 10% stake in ESPN. So they didn't buy it with money. They gave up portion of the company to the NFL. So that is just weird. That's wild. They got the red zone, which as a fan, that's a good thing. But is it? You know what I mean? Because to me, will they make a lot of changes? Will we get commercials during the red zone now? We don't know. You know what I mean? So Anyway, it's just so many layers to this story, and we'll talk about the WWE angle in a second. But for now, let's stick to this. ESPN and the NFL are completely in bed now, and what that means. Justin, I know you heard about this story. What was your thoughts when you initially heard about it?
This is real simple for me, and you bring up a real good point of, the journalistic side of it, right? And will you still have those gumshoe type guys that's still willing to dig deep to try to be whistleblower, or find whistleblowers, and so on and so forth. Um, I'm just here to tell you that the general public, we do not care. That's the problem. They can do that their own selves. They can they can find some other agency or something like that to do it. They can leak it themselves. Like, it doesn't take much, especially with social media being what it is, to get something viral in a sense, especially if there's legs to it. So I just think that ESPN is just finally saying, "Yo, we're Amazon. Amazon no longer. Are you going to Amazon just to buy books? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you have to adjust to the times, and you have to constantly reinvent yourself as a business. All businesses need to do this, especially the top tier ones. So I think ESPN is just putting their flag down and saying, like, all right, we are pivoting, we are adjusting what we're doing to the point where, as though, yes, we are now backed by Disney, if I'm not mistaken, and
Disney owns them.
we're going to go ahead on and start purchasing these properties and see what we can do with it. So this is all monopoly. This is all business. This is fun. This is entertaining, coming from the very, very low end consumer part of it. Whereas though, I'm going to give my money to somebody. It's just who has the best package available, so I can go ahead on and spend my money for it. So that's what's going to happen regardless. So, like I said, I think this is just like Amazon, just like other people. They don't want to be Blockbuster. Let's just call it like this.
Yeah, Calvin.
It's crazy because Roger Goodell had a quote that he says, the NFL doesn't compete with the NBA, MLB. We compete with Amazon and Google. Like, they don't want to be a sports network. They want to be a media outlet. They want to control the stories that come out. They want to control the narrative of the stories that come out. So whatever comes out, be it positive or negative, we're going to put our spin on it so you can see how we want you to see it. And that's what's really going on in this situation. They have complete control over everything that comes out in the NFL to an extent that goes through ESPN. So it'll be important for your independent media members, your Nightcap, your Marcellus Wiley podcast to report on certain situations that may not be front page or front page coverage on SportsCenter or ticker coverage on ESPN. So it'll be more important for you to gain that independent perspective as well. From the NFL and ESPN perspective, you get more NFL now, more all the time. You get better access to an extent. Just to have the red zone, like you said, I do think they're going to eventually put commercials in there more than they already are, where it's kind of like a split screen. So that will be coming because they got to make money on this some kind of way. So it won't be the same. Hopefully there'll still be a Scott Hansen. Hopefully it'll be the same, basic show. With 7 hours of mostly commercial-free football or 7 hours of football. You're probably gonna hear a different statement just to start off with. So it is something that you got to keep your eye on, but. One thing is we didn't even mention, though, your NFL is in bed with ESPN. ESPN is also in bed with gambling. So this is also coming back full circle with gambling as well.
That's a great point.
Because ESPN has their own gambling app.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's going to be integrated into the red zone, into everything else as well. So they're making money that way as well. So it's a whole lot of layers to this. You can only kind of go with what you see and what you at face value and kind of go from there. But there's definitely going to be some changes, ESPN wise. This isn't the ESPN from even 15 years ago, with SportsCenter kind of ran and you kind of set your clock to SportsCenter. Now it's just going to be what NFL all day, all the time during NFL season. Will there be anything else? We're going to see.
It's already been NFL all the time with some basketball sprinkled in there. Like call it what it is. Like, they have basically eliminated baseball from their coverage.
And they actually are not gonna have Sunday Night Baseball anymore.
No, they eliminated it.
They eliminated that the next
season. They didn't pay for the package. You know what I mean? They got college football. College football still is big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a pipeline to the NFL.
To the NFL.
You know what I mean? The draft, they expanded their draft coverage even more now. All of that shows pretty much are garnered to NBA and NFL predominantly.
Yeah.
And NFL used to have an off season. There is no NFL
There is
off
no
season.
off season.
They talk NFL all year, and that's
Draft
they
to
just
free
start.
agency to second free agency to training camp.
You know what I mean?
You know?
Like, but baseball, I mean, it barely gets. I used to watch Get Up every morning. I haven't watched it in a while, but I normally start back up around football season. And man, baseball was like a footnote. You know what I mean? Hockey, they started putting that guy PJ Scooping on there. You know what I mean? PK Scooping, or whatever his name was.
PK
so he was a little, he was a little animated. So they would put him on from time to time. But even he was talking basketball. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, they have already started this. But this, to me, just from a journalistic perspective, I went to school for broadcast journalism. There are ethics that I think it's just hard for me to see. I think this is going to mean like outlets like The Athletic, outlets like those type of some of the websites that we go to are going to be even more important. And maybe this helps print journalism. Maybe this helps, you know what I mean, some of the lower level guys go out there who really still on the grind and really earn their checks. And I'm excited, like, to me, in some ways, because we're going to see who's real and who's not. It's going to really expose you. Well, clutch points, they're going to get more exposure. If they cover this thing the right way, SB Nation could really pop back up and really do something with this journalistic thing. You know, it's different outlets that are still out there. They're still doing the thing the right way. And I look forward to that. And, you know, as a person who always aspired to be in this space, this might be time for me to, you know, dip my toe back into the writing aspect of it, because, man, somebody got to be looking at some of these aspects. And ESPN should be the worldwide leader, not in bed with the. I just can't. It doesn't make any sense. But I hear where you're coming from, Justin. It is what it is. You on mute?
Oh no, I was literally just shaking my head. There was nothing else I was saying. We do not care.
Pathetic. But into that point, with this new app, they're adding other things of value. As I spoke about earlier, they have inside the NBA. They have, the UFC most likely will re-up with them. That's not 100%. There's a chance that some package will go on ESPN. Some package might go to Netflix. But another company that's in bed with Netflix is also diversified, because the WWE announced today that they signed $1.3 billion deal over the next 5 years, almost a 1.6 times evaluation increase over the last deal they signed with Peacock. Mind you, this deal only includes 10 PLEs, and then there'll be two of those will be 2-day events, being that WrestleMania is a 2-day event, SummerSlam is a 2-day event. But they got $1.3 billion for 10 pay-per-views. That is utterly unheard of. Unheard of. When the Peacock deal included the entire library, all the NXT specials, none of that's included here. Think about the value that the WWE has put on that. And that Peacock deal was just signed in 2021. So 5 years later, you've made your value go up that much higher. Then, not to mention, you have the big deal you got with Netflix for Raw, the deal you signed with the CW for NXT, the deal you have for SmackDown on USA, and the Saturday Night Main Event deal that's on NBC. Now, you still have an opportunity to sign another deal that can include your library going possibly to stay on Peacock, the NXT streaming paper PLEs, that's still up for grabs. You have AAA, you can bundle that in there with that. Man, this is ridiculous. They printing money, man. They are printing money, and I know people hate it, but that's that. I mean, if you love wrestling and you want it to continue to thrive, you want the little guy to win too. But damn, the big guy's winning. The big guy is winning. Calvin, what was your thoughts when you heard this news?
And can you just explain that it's not a separate subscription?
Like no. Okay. So, for example, if you currently have ESPN in your deal, technically, the reason why a lot of people's cable bill is so high is because they individualize. You know, when you look at your cable bill, HBO might cost $10. Stars might cost $8 or whatever like that. ESPN costs a certain amount of money on your cable bill. all the Paramount channels cost a certain amount of money. So a lot of people cut cable because the expenses are just too high. But you still want ESPN. Yes, you will pay $30 for a standalone service that will give you access to all ESPN services. But if you already have ESPN on your Comcast, on your Verizon, on your Hulu TV, on your YouTube TV, you already pay for ESPN, you will get access to this new app exactly with the same subscription. You don't have to pay an extra dollar, no value, no increase in payment, nothing like that. You will have access to all the ESPN app and what it deserves. So yeah, it's no increase if you already have ESPN. If you don't and you want it, yeah, you got to pay the $30. Justin, you had a question?
No, so like I know a lot of people got ESPN through the Disney package. So you got the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and then Hulu joint.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's already there. Okay, bet.
Yep.
So I'm assuming
I gotta turn it back on.
I'm assuming like similar to Hulu, so similar to Hulu, the ESPN app is just going to be revamped because it's kind of but they're not going to include that in Disney Plus.
ESPN Plus is eventually going to go away, and this will be the new thing they're going to put. Basically, ESPN Plus was an experiment to see how many people they could garner to pay for that individually. It wasn't that much. So remember, on ESPN Plus, you had to subscribe to that, then pay an additional $50 for UFC.
The UFC pay-per-view.
Yes. With WWE, you will and the Red Zone, you don't have to pay extra. Because if you had an NFL account, like I was paying like $13.99 a month, I think it was, for Red Zone, you don't have to do that no more. All of that's included with your subscription. There was a lot of confusion this morning when the articles originally were coming out, but Nick Khan did an interview. He broke it down and explained it. I saw Triple H did an interview. A lot of people broke that down. But yeah, so a lot of people was getting frustrated. Like, I gotta pay $30 where I was paying whatever free on Peacock if you had a Comcast subscription level. No, if you have ESPN, you already get it. So that's the particulars on that end. But to that point, think about the value. And here's another thing. Certain pay-per-views will be on the app. So you still have to, like, you go on Peacock, watch it. But certain pay-per-views will be on linear ESPN proper. So you will tune in to ESPN and WrestleMania will be on it. That's wild to me.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Wild.
Look,
yeah.
ESPN is just printing money. With this partnership with the NFL, we just talked about this partnership with WWE to bring wrestling back somewhat mainstream. I guess this is as close to mainstream as it's going to get in this new day and age. But with the talent that's available in WWE, with the pay-per-views, the 2-day pay-per-views, the talent that's on every Monday and Friday, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I do think it gets to a point where maybe you start to think about a third day of the week for a standalone show, which because you have so much talent, but then you run the risk of running your talent thin. But this doesn't include NXT, so this would be another whole day of the week. That's another conversation. But just for in this instance, like, I don't see why it's a bad thing for WWE. I mean, I understand you're selling. You've tripled your valuation from your standalone app for 10 years ago to going to Netflix to going to Peacock. Now you're with ESPN, and ESPN has a multitude of channels on regular cable, a multitude of channels on the ESPN Plus app. So you can bring that audience to you as well. You have the ability to bring that audience to sell out more pay-per-views, to have more PLEs, to even pay talent more and hopefully retain talent. Can we honestly say this is a bad thing for AEW? And may get to a point where they start to lose that. Like, let's look at the big picture. If you can bid for talent, and all of a sudden you have AEW top talent coming to WWE, some would say they would never come or even come back. Is this WCW WWE war all over again, in which the WWE ended up putting that other company out of business?
I don't think it's bad for AEW because Tony Khan is a billionaire. He's going to pay what he's going to pay. I mean, he has no budget. They're a private company. WWE is a publicly traded company, so of course they have budgets. TKO is the parent company.
Generate money.
Tony Khan is the 190. I think he owns 90% And I think WBD owns a portion of AEW. But again, that's an impact bag of shows. In a way, the suppression or compression of this deal might have an issue. I mean, might actually help AEW because by them moving to ESPN, if they leave Peacock might say, "Hey, we need to put something on this property." Drew said, well, "What about folks that no longer have cable? Cable has been dying for years." That's true. That's why they offering this as a standalone app.
But you don't even need the way you explain. You don't even need cable. You can have the app. You can buy. You can have YouTube TV. So it's not even like just having cable. As long as you have the ability to watch it some kind of way.
If you have a way, if you have the because Hulu's actually going away. That was another thing.
That app's going away. Yeah,
they're gonna rename it as Disney.
It's just gonna be a part of Disney.
Yeah, Disney's gonna have an overarching app that encompasses ESPN, Hulu, all of that, because Hulu's but Hulu, I have Hulu Live. Hulu Live is similar to YouTube,
but that's not going away.
It's not going away, but they're going to rebrand it or whatever like that. It's just really, if you have that, all you do is go log into the app and type in your credentials like you said. You know how you do that now with HBO Max. Prime example, if you're a subscriber to HBO and you want to watch HBO Max, you just go in there and type in your HBO credentials and you already got it. That's another sub for the PL, a $30 sub. No, it's not. Now, if you already have ESPN in your current package on any platform right now, you will get the PLE with your subscription. That's just, you don't have to pay any additional money for the PLEs. That comes with the ESPN access that you get with your. Nick Khan explained it early today in his thing, and it's actually been in multiple articles. So yeah, no additional money if you're already currently. Now, if you cut the cord and you don't subscribe to anything that has ESPN at all, you got to go subscribe $30 to get that new ESPN app to get access. But I wouldn't do that. They even offering a deal for a whole year for $29.99. You can get the ESPN app for $29 for a year. So I mean, at the very least, and then by then, I'm sure it'll be multiple bundles where they bundle Disney Plus and Hulu and all that. Either way. Peacock. A lot of people never even pay full price for Peacock. I know some people are still paying like $1.99. I don't need ESPN. Yeah, man, it's tough. The whole point is to try to get you to need ESPN. That's what they want. You know what I mean? But there are other means out there to watch all of this. We all know that.
So it eventually, if the UFC signs with ESPN or re-signs, it's going to be a similar situation.
We don't know because apparently part of the problem was ESPN has been losing money on that deal because people wasn't subscribing to the UFC fights like they used to because the big names ain't there no more. There's no Conor McGregor fighting, every few months. There's no John Jones.
He's been there before on ESPN Plus, actually. I don't think.
I think his last fight wasn't Nate Diaz, maybe Dustin Poirier. Yeah, it's been a while. He's been keep getting in trouble. Anyway, they won't go back to that per month payment thing. They reestablish what the market is. AEW still has pay-per-view every month. You know what I mean? And people know they gotta pay $50.
So
Justin,
I'm about to say I think the trickle down effect is what's I'm kind of interested in. So, and I say that to say, yes, NXT probably won't be on ESPN right away, but eventually it's going to make its way. Some of the programming, TNA, some of the programming,
CW, right?
They could have, but if ESPN's saying out of the 8 channels that we have, we can dedicate maybe one of them to more wrestling content, then I'm quite sure they're going to make some adjustments, or the next deal that they make is going to be, shoot, we got our own channel on the plethora ESPN joint. So they, you're getting more exposure that way, which is
money
grab. But at the end of the day, this is TKO, right? They in debt. Shout out to when we talk comebacks. I know King is commenting. We have Bobby Monsoon. He always talks about the $3 billion of debt. Well, you got to come out that some kind of way. You got to find a way to get out of debt some kind of way. So if this by itself is just it's a great business move. It's just it is what it is.
WWE was smart from the jump because what they did was they started their own network and they took all of their pay-per-views and put it on that network. Everybody said that is crazy, that is dumb. But what it did was it tested the market. And what it did was it showed that they had a base subscriber base that they could show other streamers, say, look at these 2.6 million people who subscribe to our network. If you make a deal with us, we can bring those people to you. Did everybody go? Of course not. There's always churn with streaming. You might have one number in March and April because it's WrestleMania season, and somebody might not subscribe again until SummerSlam. You know what I mean? It's not consistent. But they had a proof of concept. Any business knows you do a proof of concept, you can show that you can make money on this. Peacock was that next step. They showed that, hey, y'all losing money on everything on Peacock, but guess what's valuable? WWE. Look at USA. USA wouldn't even be a network right now. They would have folded the tent if it wasn't WWE. They lost Monday Night Raw, and they paid all that money for SmackDown just to hold on to something because they really wanted to keep both, but they couldn't. They could not afford it. But they know we could not afford to let WWE go because look at the rating. The highest rated show on USA right now is WWE Raw, and the next show below it is so far down, it's ridiculous. So they keeping the whole station afloat. If cable was to lose, ESPN is over. What is the highest rated cable station on cable right now? It's consistently ESPN. Live Sports was keeping cable alive. So again, you got to keep a linear component to any of these deals. So I think this was brilliant. By putting Raw on Netflix, you did decrease your audience a lot because you got some of these older folks who do not subscribe to Netflix. You know what I mean? So they need an outlet to watch, and they'll still watch ESPN. Go ahead, Calvin.
At the end of the day, this is just the next step in pay to watch what you want to watch. So instead of paying for cable, instead of paying for the streaming service, if you just want to watch football, it's going to be, you could pay to watch this specific game. It'll be $5 for this one game. If you want to watch it again next week, it's $5. This is what we're actually going to be able to watch what you want to watch when you want to watch, in a manner that you want to watch it, instead of having to buy the whole package just to watch this one football game. It's just the next step, and it's eventually coming. Now, will it be able to get to a point where you can get together as football, or will it be where you're only watching Ravens games, for example, or will it be you're only watching games in September? It's getting to that point, and it's pricing the cable companies out. Even it started pricing the apps out, because if you're hopping from ESPN, WWE has been on Netflix, it's been on Peacock, and it's going to ESPN. This is their fourth streaming service if you count the WWE app in 10 years, and the price is just continuously going up and up and up. Even though they're giving you the same, you can say it's a better product, but the price is going up and up in valuation for the company, and they're just hopping from service to service. So if a new streaming service comes out next year and they say, well, we want this product, we'll give you double what they're giving you. It's just going to the highest bidder at one point. But at what point does the consumer get added value for the price for this service? Is still the same. It's just they got more money.
When does the consumer ever matter when it comes to this?
Yeah, I'm about to say my cable bill used to be $240 a month. My cable bill was $240 a month. In the grand scheme of things, if you paying for Peacock, what's that? $15?
No, Netflix was like what, $4, $5?
Oh yeah. I mean,
when they was giving them
Netflix
promos out every year.
I think I got premium Netflix. It was like $18 a month, something like that.
And don't even talk about like sharing your password.
You can't share passwords like on Netflix no more.
Yeah.
But I can on Paramount Plus. I can on Hulu. I can on Amazon. I can, you know what I mean? So there is a way to do this where you still making out. It's not like it was at the beginning because they were just desperate to get subscribers. But at the end of the day, when you're comparing it, the cable companies are pissed because they're not being able to rake people on the calls like they used to. It was averaging $180 a month for cable bills. Like at the end of the day, if you pay under $100 or under $50 for the combination of Netflix, say you got Disney Plus, say you got Hulu, or you got what's the HBO Max. You know what I mean? I like Apple TV. You know what I mean? But I pay
still less than cable.
It's still less than cable. So, but you get to pick what you want. You're not just getting all these thousands of channels that you might watch 30 of them.
Don't watch.
You know what I mean? So again, I get it. If you want to watch something cheap, go get you a Fire Stick and get it jailbroken. Let's be honest. Like, there's ways to be cheap if you want to be cheap. But this is what
we're not endorsing that, by the way.
No. Of course not. I'm just saying, like, if the problem is, I can't afford this and that, there's means out here. There's websites you can click on and watch these streams. So let's not be at like, you know what I mean? I just say it's 2025. You know what I mean? Anybody can Google.
That's true. You do gotta make something. But you gotta.
Internet's life.
If you streaming, if you watching one thing, your wife watching something, your daughter watching this, you gotta make sure you're getting the best internet package you get to, because you don't want any lag.
So, I mean, ain't nothing getting cheaper. It's unfortunate. But anyway, it's just crazy to me that they got that much money for 10 pay-per-views. That is wow. And if you really look at it, go to YouTube right now and go to the WWE Vault. That's the WWE Network. Look at all the stuff they've been putting on there for free. You know what I mean?
When does the separate WWE Network expire overseas?
In most countries, it has expired. And here's another catch. I don't think a lot of people realize. If you get you a VPN, you can subscribe to Netflix overseas and get everything right now, because they got the full library on Netflix and all the pay-per-views. So it's ways to make this thing work. If you just Google is your friend. That's all I'll say to anybody. But no, if you are a current ESPN subscriber, you don't have to pay an extra $1 to get the new ESPN app, which will include NFL Red Zone, WWE's PLE pay-per-views, but you still need, but remember, the Saturday Night Main Event deal on NBC will still be good, because that was part of the USA deal with
because Peacock's because USA's under Peacock.
Yeah, and it was still NBC. Simulcast on Peacock. So they still be on Peacock, regardless. You know what I mean? He said, look at all this extra illegal stuff you had to do. That's why
he was bootlegging cable boxes for the longest time. Hot boxes and all that.
I had a hot box. You don't have to do anything.
Just evolve.
You know what I mean?
Just evolve.
Shoot, I started watching the Baltimore Orioles for how many years? Because they decided to take the Orioles off regular TV and put them on a Madison. Get out of here. I ain't paying no extra money for no Madison. But it is what it is. Now I have to pay $100 monthly to watch it. Already gone. Yeah, man. Money make the world go round. It's sad, but it's true. Yeah. All right, let's get into the football previews for the week. We'll continue to monitor them stories, and it was a lot of news coming out that day from the world of Apple, Disney, because they got a lot coming up. Let's start with the Green Bay Packers tonight. Calvin, tell us about the Packers.
Man, if you watch this show, you know how high I was on that starting quarterback Jordan Love last year. It let me down somewhat, but there were some ups. There were a lot more downs, specifically at that receiver position last year for the Green Bay Packers. In my opinion, the biggest offseason loss was Jair Alexander. Now, he was often injured, but I do think that he was a top 5 cornerback in the NFC. And in the division where you have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, Dunzier and DJ Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, you need cornerbacks. You need to be able to at least slow down some of those receivers. So you need the good defense on that back end. So I think he will be missed in Green Bay. The biggest offseason addition, they signed a guard, Aaron Banks, from the San Francisco 49ers to help protect Jordan Love. I think they gave him damn near like $90 million. So he was a pretty high-priced acquisition for the Green Bay Packers. My biggest question is just would Jordan Love continue to show these flashes of brilliance? Early on last year, he had that ankle injury that kind of kept him out, I believe, after week 1 of last year when they played Philadelphia, and he kind of was slow coming back. But, in that division, at least this year, he should be no worse than the second best quarterback in that division. But he needs to be the best quarterback in that division to take this offense to new heights and to win a division. They've had so much up and down play from the wide receiver position with Romeo Doubs, with Christian Watson, they've had the drops, which seems like on decent passes from Jordan Love. So will they take that next step and actually play better for their quarterback? It's on this offense, in my opinion, to lead his team to a division title. I still think Detroit has the upper hand, at least right now, but they are a team that can have the best quarterback in that division. And I think if you have the best quarterback in that division, you have a chance to win that division.
Okay. So you think that Aaron Banks of their entire offseason, that was the best addition? Was there any other splashes or anything?
They re-signed a lot of their own players, and that was more so on the defensive end. But just protecting Jordan Love, I think, was the key for them. Let's get some protection for Jordan Love. Let's have Jacobs. I'm not Jacobs. I'm blanking on the running back's name. Let's have him run behind a better line and get him to where as though he was the he was the third best running back last year, especially third best acquisition behind Saquon and Derrick Henry. So I think that's the key is just protecting Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs, that's what I'm thinking of. But he was an acquisition from the Raiders a couple years ago. I think if you can get him going, you can get kind of take some pressure off Jordan Love with that run game, and then all of a sudden you can have some explosive pass plays. That's where it starts in that front line because you're still going up against pretty good defensive lines in the NFC North as well.
Okay, Justin, your thoughts on this Packers team? You're me.
We really got to see how their offense is going to take it to the next level. I know that you're talking about Jordan Love and will he take that next step? He has no other choice. He has to firmly plant his flag as saying that I'm the best quarterback out of this division. Like that's what he has to do in order for the Green Bay to take it to the next step. He has a plethora of weapons. They just spent I think Matthew Golden is they drafted him.
Yes.
So they're constantly reaffirming his wide receiver core, which is a pretty great set of receivers. And then they gave him Josh Jacobs last year. So they are doing their part. You can say that the team is doing it. They're doing their part to make Jordan Love that dude, and he needs to go ahead on and prove that he's that guy. So at the end of the day, that's just what it's about. It's about, can your quarterback take a step towards being elite? Can he be elite? And that's what's going to take him to the next level. That's what's going to take this team further into the playoffs. So to me, it's all on Jordan Love.
Yeah, I agree. I really like what they did as far as, trying to make sure that you show up the offensive line for Jordan Love. I think he took a step back last year, and I mentioned that early on. That I didn't think he would be able to replicate that success. I didn't think that they really surrounded him with the weapons that I thought would make that offense as great as people were trying to say. Now, I get the whole Romeo Doubs had some injuries. There wasn't really some consistent playmakers. And he himself suffered some injuries last year. So, again, keeping them upright, keeping them on the field will be important. But defensively, in that division, they're going to have to step up. So, I want to see what type of moves they made in the offseason. I know they had some draft picks that they were high on. If those pay out dividends, that would be the true telltale about this Green Bay Packers team. The jury's still out on Jordan Love, in my opinion. So, Calvin, tell us about the Mount Rushmore of Green Bay, one of the storied franchises of the NFL. Excuse me.
I was going to say even one more thing. They were a team that was interested in Bateman as well. So when Bateman was going through his whole contract cycle with the Ravens and he reached out to kind of get his value, they were one of the teams along with New England and Dallas that reached out and said, hey, we would trade for him. So they may not be, confident in every position, especially if they were going to trade for Bateman, but they're basically running back what they had from last year. But Mount Rushmore for Green Bay, I think it's simple. I don't think there'll be any disagreement. No matter what you think of them, I think you got Brett Favre up there. I think you got Aaron Rodgers up there. And I'm going to go defense for the last two. I'm going to go Reggie White, and I'm going to go Charles Woodson. I wanted to put Sterling Sharp up there. I wanted to. Actually, you know what? I'm taking off Charles Woodson. I'm going to have him as a Raider. I'm going Sterling Sharp. So I got Reggie White and Sterling Sharp. Now I think about it.
All right, say your four again.
Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Sterling Sharp, Reggie White.
No Bart Starr. Okay.
I can't. I didn't see him, and even when I go back and look at tape, it's not flashing off the tape to me. So being respectful, he was great in his day. I'm just not going to include him on my Mount Rushmore. I'm going to go more modern players.
And you put Reggie as a Packer instead of an Eagle?
Yes. You got his ring in Green Bay.
Okay. I think that's a little. I think he's more of an Eagle, but okay, that's fine. Justin, what you got?
I'd be hard pressed not to have the same four. When I think some players I think should go on multiple uh, Mount Rushmores, and in this situation, I think Reggie White is talented enough, is good enough to go here and on Philadelphia's joint. So, um, and I mean, they had good players, but none stand out to me like him. Um, and you gotta go from the Super Bowl teams. We're not necessarily. It's sometimes it's hard to go back to the unless you're gonna put Vince Lombardi himself, maybe
If you want
on
to,
this particular
he's the
list.
face. The trophy's after him. You know
The
what I mean?
trophy's named after him, so
I
I'm
think if we
I'm
put
still not doing
Belichick,
that. I'm still not doing it.
I guess for
The whole
me,
ESPN, they can kick rocks.
I think for me, I'll make that move. Because I think he represents so much about what football is. And if I put, Bill Belichick, I think Vince Lombardi has
Who
to
you
be
taking
on
off?
that list. I'm taking Reggie White off. I think Reggie is more of an
Okay.
Eagle, in my opinion.
Okay.
He played the vast majority of his time in Philadelphia, made a lot of splash there. So I got everybody else. I agree with the two quarterbacks, and yeah, that's the list. Okay, good stuff. All right, let's move on. Just an aside, breaking news. Brandon Thurston, who I follow on WrestleNomics, he got report tonight saying that according to someone familiar with the agreement, it is now discovered that customers of Charter, Spectrum, DirecTV, Fubo TV, Hulu Live TV, and Verizon Fios will have the luxury of having the ESPN subscription give them availability to the app. The rest will need to pay for the service currently. Those noted the providers that provide that have to pay right now, they are in negotiation with Comcast, YouTube TV, Dish TV, Sling, and they are not included in the deal, but they are up for negotiation. So they trying to play
They
hardball
trying
with
to play y'all ball. They
yeah,
got five. They got what 4 or 5 months.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
to get
yeah.
done.
Well, they
Something
got
to
to
get
get
done.
it done before football season. That's the thing
I thought
because
this
the
was
red zone.
This was WWE. This was NFL.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Oh.
You're right. You're right. You're right. They got most. They got most. They got most. Yeah. No, no, no. That's for the whole app itself.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. You won't have access to the ESPN app without a subscription unless you are
Oh,
one of these cable
with the
companies.
new app. Okay,
But they trying to give them because they know NFL season is right around the corner. They
got
put
you.
it in their hand, and Comcast is really in a tough pickle with everything that's going on with them. They just got to
But
prove.
is it NBC owns Comcast, right?
No, Comcast on NBC.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
interesting. But they just got purchased by Sundance or something like that.
Yeah.
Some big parent company.
So they
Yeah,
could
that's.
be. So they could be upset because they're
Oh,
now
they going to
sudden
buckle. It's
they're
NFL.
going, but they're going at them for the NBA because the NBA is going back to NBC.
Yeah,
For
they gonna play
football
hardball with them.
because ESPN has Monday Night Football, but NBC has Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
And now the entire NFL is going to
yeah.
ESPN, who's their
And then
direct
they feel like they're
competition.
gonna get more right to. And did you hear about the NFL bought a portion of CBS? That happened today too. That's crazy. Yes, look that up while we go into the next one. All right, next up is the Los Angeles Rams. Justin, tell us about the Rams.
This is real easy. Matthew Stafford, starting QB. They lost Cooper Kupp in the offseason. They got Devontae Adams as a replacement. And if you was watching this team, if you just happened to graze over this particular team, you notice that the defense led by Jared Verse was turning it up to a whole nother level towards the end of the season, and most of them are on their first contracts. They took that and then they rolled it right into the playoffs. Pause, and then you notice like, yo, is it real? Is it not? Is it so? They need to just continue on take that momentum to the next level and just start off the season like that. They ended the season 10-7. They had back-to-back 10-7 seasons. So that's pretty impressive. So if they can get any better, you're talking about 13-4, something like that. That's a very, very, very tough record. Um, but the number one question is, can Matthew Stafford, who already has a back problem, can he
Already.
last the entire season? That is number one thing for them. They have Puka Nakua, they had Devontae Adams, they had Tyler Higbee, they had Kyron Williams. They have weapons. The line is the line. They have a pretty decent offensive line. They have everything. They need Matthew Stafford. Now, did they get it? Did they give him some backup help? Yes, he has Jimmy Garoppolo, serviceable at best. But maybe he already had problems with Devontae Adams in Oakland or Las Vegas. So let's not necessarily promote that part of it. But hopefully they squash that. So that's the number one question. I think just listening to some of the beat reporters and things like that from the Rams, it's all questions are always is centered around. They're not even worried, can Devontae fit in? He's already doing well. Devontae's Devontae. Can Matthew Stafford stay healthy enough to do that? Can Matthew Stafford stay away from some of the mistakes that he makes? Matthew Stafford will throw the ball like he's 27 years old, but he's really close to the 37. That's up in here. That's his space. So he has to decrease the turnovers. Understand that you are now kind of changing yourself into a high level game manager type of quarterback. You are no longer the gunslinger that you used to be. You still have a cannon of arm. It's just maybe not as effective as you think it is all the time. So all these questions, it's 7 degrees of separation, 7 degrees of questions, all surrounded mainly Matt Stafford. I still think they probably won't take this division. I think they are going to lie heavy on the defense, and I think that's the reason they're going to go right back into the playoffs. How far they get, that depends on the QB.
I think this team is a Super Bowl contender. Like the more I look at their roster on defense and some of the explosive plays they were able to make last year, and the players that they added, far as from a draft perspective. Yeah. If you really look at the last two drafts for the Rams, after they went salary cap hell, you remember this was the team.
F
them picks.
Yes.
About to say it again next year too, though. So
yes, but they really have loaded up and adding Devontae Adams, bro. You went out and you were in a snow game in the playoffs
for the NFC Championship.
For the NFC Championship. And you barely lost. You fought valiantly to the end. And you go out and get a reinvigorated and remotivated Devontae Adams to play him next to Puka Nakua. And I'll talk about more of this trio later. But man, I'm excited, man. I think we'll give our predictions in a couple weeks. But damn, I like this Rams team. I really do. Calvin.
Look, this team, in my opinion, is going to be in contention for number one seed in the NFC. They're talented, and just look at their schedule. They play the AFC South and the NFC South. They have a pretty soft schedule. The Eagles, I think, play the AFC West and the NFC North. So even if the Eagles are just as good, they're probably lose an extra game or two, where the Rams can win an extra two games just based off their schedule. They upgraded wide receiver Devontae over Cooper Kupp. They have a young defense. They added to that defense, and they have 2 number 1 draft picks next year. I mean, I heard they probably plan on drafting Arch Mann. They're in love with him. But at least for this year, they have talent on defense. They're young on defense. They just re-signed Kyron Williams to an extension at running back. If Matthew Stafford's back is okay, I mean, it's hard that it's questionable to have back problems when it's warm, and then when it gets cold, the back's on the flare up. But if he can stay healthy and stay upright, this team is dangerous, in my opinion. They should win the NFC West going away. They should contend for the NFC number 1 seed with Detroit and Philadelphia. It's just all on, in my opinion, Matthew Stafford, who's the elder statesman of this team, because there's youth everywhere else around them.
Yeah, I agree. Justin, tell us about the Mount Rushmore
this is going to be interesting.
The St. Louis Rams / Los Angeles.
You say easy. I don't think it's easy.
Okay, we'll hear it.
All right, here we go.
Let's go.
Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner, Eric Dickerson, Aaron Donald. Easy work.
Damn.
You're welcome.
Damn. I'm glad you put ED because that's who was on my list. I say you got to put ED on there. Damn.
Say that you said Marshall
Marshall
Faulk,
Faulk, Kurt Warner,
Aaron
ED,
Donaldson,
and Aaron Donald. I think that's the list. What's your argument? Who did you not want to? Who did you want to put on?
I think you gotta consider
Leonard Little.
No, you don't.
No, you gotta consider Orlando Pace. I think you gotta consider Deacon Jones. I mean,
okay, who you taking off? That's where this comes into play.
That's the question. Kurt Warner don't come off.
Deacon is great.
I'm sorry,
but Kurt Warner can't come off. I mean, he was only like 3.
Marshall Faulk is known as a Ram. That was a PPR king.
The greatest show on turf.
The PPR king. Aaron Donald is one of the greatest defensive players of this time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah. That's the list. That was easy.
Yeah.
I give it to you.
Yeah.
But they do have talent, though. They do have talent. You could have threw out maybe Isaac Bruce.
I was thinking Isaac Bruce.
Just for St. Louis. But you got, Marshall Faulk and Eric Dickerson, man. Greatness in running backs.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Great job. All right, next up, I got to talk about the Houston Texans, not the Oilers, the Texans. And this team is very interesting. I'm not really excited about this team. 2 years ago, C.J. Stroud took the lead by storm, came in firing. But as disappointing as we look at last season, in many ways for the Texans, a lot of that was due to injury. If you really go back and look at the receiving core, untimely injuries to certain guys that really, we thought would play a bigger role in how this team's success would end up. But they went out in the offseason. They got Nick Kelly, new offensive coordinator, who's coming in with a strategic mind to take over this offense, and hopefully that will help the young quarterback continue to develop. The defense they were getting some good stops last year. If you recall, they beat up on Patrick Mahomes when they played him, but they just could not get over the hump offensively. And in the playoffs, while they were competitive, they just weren't good enough to get over the hump. Once again, to me, you want to protect your quarterback. So the head scratcher move of the offseason was trading away Laramie Tunsil, who we know was, a lot of questions about him coming into the league, but he's done nothing but perform. He's not done nothing but do his job, and it's very rare that you give up on a left tackle, but I heard it was more of a contract situation, and they made this move to kind of, get ahead of that. They wasn't going to be able to pay him, so they got something back in return and try to make the best of it. They went out and signed Trenton Brown, which, serviceable, but nothing that's going to make a splash. They really, I think, did themselves a disservice by not bringing more depth to that offensive line to make up for the loss of Tunsil, but we'll see how that works out. The Christian Kirk move, we'll see. That was a big pickup for them in the offseason as well, from getting him from Jacksonville. You went out and signed Nick Chubb to a 1-year deal just to see if he got any juice left in them legs, replacing Joe Mixon in the backfield. So we'll see, is he able to come in there and give you that Nick Chubb of old that we used to see in Cleveland? That will be the jury's still out on that. Getting Braxton Berrios, doesn't really move the needle. You lose Stephon Diggs in the offseason, but he never really was able to perform for you. We know Tank Dell having his injuries. He's going to come into the season injured as well. So we don't know exactly when he'll be able to touch the field. There's a lot of questions with this Texans team, which leaves me with not really much to go off of for optimism for this season. So to me, this is one of those teams you probably had to look at on the second half of the season to see if they're able to put a run together. Because in that division, you can put a run together. There's nobody who's going to run away from the division, run away from you in the division. You'll be in it. Jacksonville isn't going anywhere. Indianapolis isn't going anywhere. The Tennessee Titans isn't going anywhere. So Houston still is in line to win the division. Again, they might have a slow start at the beginning, but I think they have enough talent, and I believe in the young quarterback enough. And we'll see if the offensive game plan is different and gives them more variety. But again, they have to stay healthy. That is going to be the key. I think their defense is good enough. They played damn well last year. We'll see if they continue to get better. Calvin, your thoughts on Texas?
Look, I think this team is going to go as far as the offensive line can take them and blocking for CJ. CJ had a down year last year, partly just injuries on wide receiver position, injuries at the offensive line, just poor play, and that caused him to take a step back, in my opinion. You trade your left tackle. Do you really improve on the offensive line, or are you waiting for next year? You sign Nick Chubb. He's coming off a devastating knee injury from a year and a half ago. How much does he have left in the tank? You still have Joe Mixon. You had this trio of receivers last year. Now you're down to basically just Nico Collins. Tank Dell's out, and Stephon Diggs is in New England. It's just about this offense and this. What can they do now? This was a team that 2 years ago made it to the divisional round in CJ Stroud's first year. We expect him to take that sophomore leap, and he kind of had some regression. But I think it was really due, like you said, to injuries and poor play. And if you don't replace his left tackle, how good can my young quarterback be? Especially when I'm going for it because he's on his rookie contract and I can't protect him. So I'm just worried about what's going to happen on offense with this team. They're still the classiest division, so I still expect them to win the division. But if you win the division going 9-8, 10-7, can you really expect to do any damage in the playoffs, or you just waste another CJ year on his rookie contract?
What's your thoughts, Justin?
Man, the more and more we go through these football previews and things like that, the more I'm thinking, Houston might just take a few steps back this year. Like it just might be time for them to digress a little bit. I mean, when you're starting running back right now, it's Nick Chubb, and word around camp is he's not the Cleveland Browns version. He lost a step. He is not the same dude anymore. Then you got Joe Mixon, which he coming back off an injury. Like they might be in trouble this year. So yeah, I think CJ finally just concedes and say, this is not the year. I'm not saying they're gonna bottom out, pause, but yeah, I just don't think they're gonna be in a tough division right now for them. And I don't know if Jacksonville's gonna take over. I don't know if Tennessee might shock some people, but they definitely came back down to the pack. I'll say that. And
you think that's a tough division?
When it's close, if you take a few steps back. I'm not saying that they're not, favorites, but they're closer to the rest of the three now instead of being head and shoulders above everybody else. So if you're close, if you're in punching range, I might knock you out. So it'd be interesting to see.
So that's an opportunity for some of these other teams to step up. You know what I mean? Like they're vulnerable. Like I say, I think they'll be more of a second half team, if anything, once the injuries get worked out and that offensive line get a chance to gel. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as the Mount Rushmore of the Houston Texans, now look, I think there's three names you definitely have to have on your list. One being J.J. Watt. He is the definition of what the Houston Texans are. I got a problem already. J.J. Watt is a Houston Texan. Number two on my list has to be Andre Johnson. That's in no order, of course, but I'm just saying those players, when you think of Houston Texans, J.J. Watt, Andre Johnson, those are like locks. Then number three, and look, I know he's bounced around here lately, but DeAndre Hopkins is still a Houston Texan. Like that's what you think of. I don't care if he's a Raven. I don't care if he would played in Kansas City or Arizona. He was a Houston Texan. Now that fourth one, you can go different directions. For me, I look at Mount Rushmore because this is a young team, an expansion team. Yes, I could go Dwayne Brown. I could go Lyman. I could go whatever. But Arian Foster is who I think of as a Houston Texan. I ain't talking about his off the field stuff. I'm talking about on the field. He's the best running back that team ever had, and the man was consistent. I'm going with Arian Foster, DeAndre Hopkins, Andre Johnson, and J.J. Watt as my Mount Rushmore for the Houston Texans. Justin, your thoughts in your list?
When do we add the Houston Oilers? Because we quit. You told us not to do it with the Tennessee. No, you told us not to do it. You said keep Tennessee. I was.
Y'all said that,
but they moved. You said Tennessee. That. No. I'm saying, but the Houston moved to Tennessee because changed the name.
Like the Colts. Like we're not talking about the. That
was what Calvin said. I said, Johnny, you know
I went for no Colts. I said I was separating the Colts. Yeah,
the Baltimore Colts and the Indianapolis Colts are the same. Like we're keeping them the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so it's a city. I'm thinking it's a city thing. When we went through the Tennessee Titans, you was like, no, we're only doing Tennessee. That's why Warren Moon wasn't a part of the list or nothing like that. Yes.
So I was like, okay, well, I do my list then. I already do my list. Warren Moon, J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, and Andre Johnson. Warren Moon definitely go on the list. Come on, one of the greatest quarterbacks.
I was just making sure. Because I was like,
I
okay,
remember
if we skip him, then we just want to skip the whole franchise.
No. That's why we're a team. You jogged my memory. I forgot that even was said. I know Calvin's talking about, we ain't talking about the Colts. I'm like, that's part of the lineage of the city.
Y'all could have did that then.
That makes sense. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, no.
All right. So with that being said, because your Houston, your Texas only list is correct. That mouse row of Texas only. Now, but if we're doing the city of Houston, if we're using that, to me, Warren Moon, Eric Campbell, the running back, Andre Johnson now, and then J.J. Watt. D-Hop misses the list. But I had to get clarification first. And shout out and honorable mentions. Like
Earl Campbell?
Earl Campbell. I said Eric, my fault. Yeah, Earl.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, I don't know about that one, no.
and shout out to Bruce Matthews.
Oh yeah, Bruce is great, but I think of him more of a. Wasn't he more of a?
He was definitely one of the best linemen, like his whole
time. He was an Oiler. He was an Oiler. He might have been there when he moved, actually, but he was an Oiler.
He was an Oiler.
Okay, all right. Nah, I can't.
That's me.
Okay, who you got, Calvin?
I got you for Watt, Andre Johnson, Hopkins, Warren Moon. That's my four. Because I'm gonna put the best quarterback in your franchise history on there in most cases. So yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense. All right. That's our preview for this week. We'll be back next week to continue as we moving steadily along this list. It's getting fun, and we getting some of the big boys is coming up very soon. We talked about one of the big boys in the Rams today, but we're getting into some of the more upper echelon, and we'll continue this list as we go. Next up, before we move on, Calvin, I just really need to ask you this simple question. Michael Parsons requested a trade this past week, and Jerry Jones had some comments, telling the fans don't lose no sleep. I had a handshake deal with this joker, and when I shake your hand, that's a deal. But he ain't want to sign, that's on him. Like, he playing very hardball, talking a lot of bluster. What's your thoughts on Jerry's comments?
First of all, he's not getting traded. I don't think he's getting traded unless some team makes a over the top offer with multiple first round picks. I don't think he's getting traded. Second, I don't understand. You cannot have discussions about my contract with me and not my representation if I have representation, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm paying them for. And if you choose to exclude them, then that's on you. No matter what you say to me, if my representation tells me no at the end of the day, and you should be negotiating with them, that's on you. So I don't care what handshake agreement you said you had, which probably wasn't market value or probably wasn't the guaranteed money that he deserves. Now, unfortunately, I don't think they will come to a contract agreement this year. And I think what's going to happen next year is he'll get franchised. Now, if he's on the team beyond that franchise period next year, we'll wait and see. But that's what I foresee happening. Now, if he wants to be, if he wants to be a smart ass and do something that I would do, take the franchise money, sit out 4 weeks, come back after you had your training camp, do the same thing next year. I'm gonna tax you, get extra 25%, and then I'm at free agency. It's hard to wait 2 years, especially in football. But if this is how you want to treat it, let's treat it like this, and I'll just screw the whole team and make sure that we can't make as many moves because you're going to pay me what I deserve at the end of the day. But I don't think Micah gets traded. I don't think they come to a contract extension this year unless there's something that's over the top. I believe he has to get more than like 125 guaranteed. I believe. Mm-hmm. I think that's what Garrett got from Cleveland. So around that time, around that money. And he's got to get, I think, 45 per year annually. So I don't think it's going to happen. But he'll be in Dallas this year.
Justin, you have any thoughts on this situation?
Yeah. Jerry Jones is, I mean, he sometimes he plays hardball, man. And at this point, it might be all the time. But It's getting to the point where it makes you kind of look at the other players of his stature. So when you think of Myles Garrett, yeah, he got paid 41 a year, 40 a year. That team not nowhere close to going to the Super Bowl. When you think of TJ Watt, that team not nowhere close to going to the Super Bowl as constructed right now, and he got 41. You got to kind of go down on the list, and then you might go against a Chris Jones or something like that that's making 30, 34, like around that range. Well, he's not going to want that. So if you think that you are a Super Bowl team, which I think Jerry always thinks this team is a Super Bowl team, do you want to pay somebody 40 to 45 million? Like you said, Calvin, you threw out 45. That seemed to be the going number. $45 million a year. However much guarantee, however you work it out amongst that team.
And I ain't no closer to winning.
And they not you don't need that one guy defensively in order to win a Super Bowl. You need high level from multiple positions.
Spread that money.
So it might be a homeboy.
I wouldn't pay him. I'm sorry, man.
I gotta put you on the market, bro. If I'm saying it, because then now you got Dak around the corner,
no, Dak just got paid last year.
Yeah, he good. And
but he can get an extension in like 2 to 3
no,
years.
He signed for like what he signed last year was an extension.
Okay.
So his contract kicks in this year.
It's Parsons' turn.
It's tough.
CD got paid. It's Michael's turn. Yeah.
I can't pay.
It's his turn, but I'm sorry. If I'm running the team, I'm moving.
I'm not doing
it. But the problem is, like every other situation, why are you late to the party? You've waited until Max Crosby, TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett signed.
They not late. They not late.
They are late because you could have
signed him. They got him contractually for 1 more year, and then they can franchise him 2 more years. They got him for 3 years.
So but the point being, between this year you can franchise in 2 years, that's probably gonna be $100 million guaranteed. So you could have given him 125, and by that time he's gonna be gone. You're right. You're gonna be.
By that time, he might be doing this already.
He might be doing this by that time.
If they really wanted him, they'd have him already. So to me, let him go. Let him go play for somebody who actually go and value him. That's my opinion. Let him go see what you can get for him. Let that man go free. You know what I mean? I just think is not smart.
This might be your
but I think at this point, that's the most intelligent thing you can do. You already messed up.
You ain't getting 3 1s for him. Not at least not this year.
I'm not saying 3 1s, but you can get a significant value versus somebody that's looking for someone as young as Michael Parsons.
Yeah, it's interesting, but we'll see. All right, let's move on. We have an interesting exercise we're going to do this week. And we ask you all to take a look at the league, and we're going to name who we believe are the best trios in the NFL. And what constitutes a trio is we looked at quarterback and skill position players. So the quarterback and 2 wide receivers, quarterback and a receiver and a running back, quarterback and a receiver and a tight end, quarterback and a running back and a tight end. What do you think of your top 5 best trios in the NFL? And we're going to do it, the way we do. We're going to rank them, give our individual lists, and we'll discuss it. Have a little fun with it. Calvin, as often, we start with you. Number 1, your number 5 best trio in the NFL. Give me your number 5 best trio.
That's funny. That's funny.
This was Kenya's idea, by the way.
Was it?
That's why she said she's waiting for this. Okay. I was going to give credit to you. I was going to give credit to you.
Nope. This was Kenya's idea.
So I had 5. So we won't have a discussion about this, but at 5, I have the trio from the Washington Commanders. I got JD5, I got Terry McLaurin, and I got Robinson as the running back.
Okay.
So that's my number 5.
So now, given the contract situation, is this even eligible? So let me stop.
He's under contract for that team. So
say the names again.
I got JD5. I got Jaden Daniels at quarterback. I have Brian Robinson Jr. at running back, and I got Terry McLaurin at wide receiver.
I would not have picked that. Okay.
No.
That was a shocker. That was a shocker.
That's my 5.
Okay, that's your 5. All
Look,
right.
it was. I was tempting to go with Bowers, Genty, and Gino, but I disrespect Gino too much to give him credit right now.
Okay.
That was
it's a little bit too much unproven, but Debo,
Yeah.
like, why would you not put Debo there?
I gotta see it.
That's your 5.
I gotta see it.
Hey, everybody's entitled to
I
their
gotta
own.
see. I gotta see. Look. Debo kind of
I
scared
got
me.
some trios over here, so yeah, you're right.
I know you got Baker. So I know you got Baker somewhere. He probably might be 5.
Okay, Justin, who do you have at number
4.
5 on your list for the best trios in the league?
Number 5 on 3 1. Okay. Because of that contract thing, I'm not putting the Commanders on here right now. Not doing it. They are definitely number 6 for me. Number 5, you can throw on the Rams hat.
I need the honorable mentions too.
Number 5 is the Rams.
Number 5 is the Rams.
Okay, and name your 3.
Name the 3.
That's the question.
This is the easy one for me. Puka, Kyron, and Devontae. I don't care who is the quarterback for them. You're going to get the boys over.
I thought it had,
I thought it had to be a quarterback.
They are that good. No,
I
it's
thought
not.
it had to include the quarterback. That was the whole
it does
point.
not.
No, I thought it had to be.
It's the trio.
It does not have. It does not have to include the quarterback. It's a trio of players.
That's part of the
Don't
point.
matter.
I thought it had to include the quarterback. The skill position.
That's for every team. If that's the case, like the whole point was you had to have a quarterback that was complemented by 2 other people
to get away with that. Not every team has that talent.
Come on,
That's
man.
what I'm doing.
Matthew Stafford. That's cheating, man. That's cheating.
Okay, so let me say this: if you had to include Stafford, who are your other 2?
I take it. First and foremost, I don't agree with cyberbullying. So let's cap that. No, I mean I'll take out if anything probably Kyron, but no, I want Kyron there.
That's disrespectful.
That's pathetic.
I get it.
All right, that's ridiculous. I was debating between the Miami Dolphins and this team, but I didn't put Miami on there, even though shout out to Tua, to Waddle and to Tyreek Hill, one of the best trios in the league when healthy. I didn't put them at number 5, but I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys of Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb and the newly acquired, what the hell is his name? George Pickens. Yes, I think that those 2 receivers with Dak will be pretty exciting trio this season. I'm projecting a bit, but I think they can do some big things. So that's number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list, and look, I could have went multiple different directions with this, but I'm going with the trio.
Bias.
Of what do you mean bias? I'm going with the trio of Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and what's his name? Devontae Adams out there in Los Angeles. I think I just passed them. The Rams. That's number 4 on my list. Justin, who's number 4 on your list?
All right, here we go. Now it gets interesting. Barrow, Chase, and Chase.
Ah, that's low.
I'm saying it now. Chase and Chase.
Oh man.
I think Chase Brown recognizes who he is and comes into his own over T. Higgins.
Chase Brown over T. Higgins?
That's what I said. I said Chase and Chase, didn't I? Barrow, Chase, and
it
Chase.
sounded so stupid that I.
Barrow, Chase, and Chase. I said it. Just watch. Barrow, Chase, and Chase. What you looking? What you mean? I said what I said.
Okay. Calvin, who's number 4 on your list? That's pathetic.
look.
Watch at the end of the season, you're gonna look at those stats and be like, "Yo, collectively, Chase Brown has a better statistical season than T. Higgins."
They don't run the ball.
We moving on. That's blasphemous. I got an underrated, unproven trio. You know what? I'm gonna put them
blasphemous, but
I got Stafford Williams, and Puka, LA Rams at 4.
Okay.
At number 3, we
all got different Rams, by the way.
Trio from this team in the NFC South. Michael Penix, Bijan Robinson. No, I'm joking. I got them honorable mention. The 3, I got Jared Goff, Gibbs, and Amon St. Brown from Detroit. That's my 3.
It's not bad.
I definitely had Atlanta honorable mention. I was trying to justify it, but I was like, I can't do it.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Justin, who's your number 3?
Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans.
You got them
Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, yes.
Now, that's a definition of a homer pick.
Watch the stats this shit, man.
He got them all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I ain't gotta explain to him.
Oh man.
For me, I'm going with number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending world champions. I know that might be a little low to some people, but that's my list, not yours.
That's out of me.
I'm going with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley. Honestly, I want to put them at 2, so I'm switching it. My number 3 instead is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers at number 3, and I'm going with the Eagles at number 2, with Saquon, Jalen, and A.J. Brown. That's my list. I got one more.
All right.
Justin.
Here we go. Number 2 for me.
Uh-huh.
And I don't even like saying this, but I'm going to have to, Baltimore Ravens as well.
Who are your 3?
Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry,
and
3, Keaton.
That was 2.
Keaton.
Stop playing.
I'm not. I think honestly, when we get into the I know you seen him in the preseason. I know you seen him. He's going to make Justin Hill a thing of the past. Believe that. If he can return to form, which I'm predicting that he will, he was one of the most explosive guys 2 seasons ago, flat out. So you combine that with the rushing attack, you might see one of the most prolific rushing attacks of all time this upcoming season for the Baltimore Ravens. They get that. They get that off.
Okay, all right. Calvin, number 2 for you, and then number 1.
I got the Ravens. Got Lamar, Henry, and Zay. I would have probably put Isaiah Likely if he didn't get hurt. I'm a upside on Likely. I think is tremendous. I think he has a chance to be in a top 2 tight end in the league. But the injury's going to set him back, so I think he'll have a slow start to the season. And number 1, I got Cincinnati, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I got a 5,000-yard passer. I got 2,000 yards. 2,000 yard receivers. Offense that's got to keep up with opposing offenses because the defense can't stop anybody. So
how do you do that? How do you if you know your defense sucks, how do you make sure they don't see the field like that? What do you do?
It doesn't matter.
You will run the ball, but that
don't make you will run the ball. This is the year that they run the ball.
But when they get down 2 scores and they got to score in a hurry, and Chase goes 80 yards off a slant or off a 10-yard
number 1. Number 1 for me, Philadelphia Eagles. Until I prove otherwise, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm the only one that ain't got Philly. I ain't surprised.
Of course you're not. You're a Cowboy. But
I ain't got the Cowboys either.
I agree.
I got the Commanders.
You couldn't justify it. And number 1 for me is the Cincinnati Bengals. I had to go with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. They are the most proven trio from a statistical standpoint. But I think the Eagles, they were neck and neck because they world champions. And Saquon adds such a dynamic element to that team. But I like that we don't have the same list. I mean, we have some people in the same spots. Like we both got the Bengals, Calvin at number 1. Y'all two got the Ravens at number 2. But then we got the Rams at number 4. The same, but pretty much jumbled up because Justin had to put the Bucks on there for some reason. But yeah. Anyway,
I had 7 teams and none of them were the Eagles.
Why would you not have the Eagles as a top trio in the league?
Who am I taking off?
Super Bowl. Who are you taking off?
Every one of the quarterbacks I have is better than Jalen Hurts. I don't have. I have a running back better than Saquon.
Every one of those, the running backs ain't better than Saquon. What you saying?
Okay,
exactly.
But I'm taking Chase over Brown.
AJ Brown is up there with everybody.
I'm taking Chase over Brown. I'm taking Amon St. Brown over Brown. I'm taking Cook over Brown. I'm taking Terry McLaurin over Brown.
No, you're not. And you don't even know if
Terry McLaurin over AJ Brown.
What about your running backs? What running back you taking over Saquon?
I'm taking Gibbs. I'm taking Derrick Henry.
Who else?
Those are 2.
You said he wasn't in your top 7.
No. I said the trio. I said the
worst thing ever. That's terrible.
It's mainly because it hurts. I'm gonna say that it's because it hurts.
Because you're a hater.
Every quarterback I named is better than Hurts.
They couldn't make your top 5,
bro. Who got a Lombardi in their hand?
Look, I had Atlanta's trio. I had Vegas' trio that I was considering.
Saquon had 2,000 yards. And they wasn't even in your top 6. You said Atlanta was your number 6. They're not even in your top 6.
I said those were the first 7 I wrote down. If I think about it, I'll make Papillion 6. But they at worst, they 7. At best, they 6.
Let's move
right now. There you go.
We gotta talk some WNBA. We haven't really had a lot to talk about. We had that All-Star break. They've come back. There's been some headlines here and there. I know there was a major story about some fans doing some unruly things, throwing things on the court, being disrespectful towards the athletes, which drew some conversation. But if you had to let's talk about some of the WNBA issues that's been happening over the last few weeks. Anything that's been catching your eye, any players that's been standing out, any teams that surprise teams, any falls from grace. Calvin, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on anything that's happening around the league here lately?
Can we give some flowers to Paige Beckers, who's having a phenomenal rookie campaign? Dare I say better than Caitlin Clark's last year, but she won't get the notoriety for that. It will just all go to Caitlin. We've had that discussion previously, though. I think this can be the best. This is going to be the best time these next couple of years for the WNBA. You had Caitlin last year. You got Paige this year. You may have Juju next year. I forgot the girl that went to Notre Dame to transfer as well. But it's a ton of talent that's coming in. But I think Paige is having arguably one of the greatest rookie campaigns in league history, and it's just not being talked about enough, in my opinion. She's getting ready to break Caitlin Clark's record, I believe, for 15-5-5 games in a rookie campaign, but it's just not being talked about enough. And I think we should give her flowers in what she's doing in her rookie campaign for Dallas right now.
Justin, anything? Would you like to comment on that? We'll move on to another subject. Something been drawing your eye?
Whoa! Something just came across the screen. To me personally, it's been Angel Reese to me. That's I think we were just honestly, people confuse critique a lot with just harsh criticism. Like, no, a lot of us was just comment on her game and the fact that she played a big position and she was shooting like close to in the 30 percentile range. That's not good. That's not accurate at all. So yes, those numbers, those rebounds, yes, you was getting a lot of defensive rebounds. You was also getting a lot of your own misses, and that she had to own that. But what I've seen from her, I know she was injured this year as well, but she's now creeping up into like getting close to the 45%, having some close to the 50% type games from the field. Now those double doubles are impactful now because you're not missing most of your shots. You're making the vast majority of basically half your shots, and now the rebounds are still there, and now you're starting to not look as I won't say lost, but her movement is a little bit in sequence now. It's smoother now. Her game is starting to smooth itself out. So Angel Reese, we was all waiting for that, and I'm sorry that you had to get so much backlash from the haters out there. But from this table, we weren't hating. We were just strongly critiquing what you needed to do to get better. And you did. You put in that work. And I couldn't wait for a WNBA segment. We got one. And I just wanted to give her flowers, the fact that she took the time in the off seasons to get better. It didn't look like it because she was everywhere else. But at the end of the day, she is getting better. And then her game is starting to speak for itself. So shout out to Angel Reese.
Yeah, shout out to her for sure. I think that the notoriety and the spotlight that not only Caitlin Clark, I know she gets most of the headlines, but look, she haven't even been playing much this year. But the WNBA's ratings are still high. It's still drawing. It's still an appeal to the league at a greater height than ever before. And we saw this over the All-Star break and All-Star game. The players came out with the shirts on that say, "Pay us what you owe us." There's a lot of labor discussions going on. I know Diana Taurasi came out. She has a video coming out on Amazon Prime, a documentary, and she talked about how it's a shame that I had to go over the seas. I'm one of the greatest players to ever play this sport, but I have to go over to a communist country to get paid like better than I do in a capitalist society. That women's basketball isn't respected, isn't paid like athletes of that caliber should be paid. And it's an ongoing issue that these women have to fight. And we know last year the ratings went through the roof. Very successful, most successful season in WNBA history. And this season is projected to be just as successful, if not more successful. And it does call to reason, at what point does the league or whoever's backing the league, the finances back that up? Remember, this is a company that is backed by the NBA. So it's not like they're an independent company where they can't get money funded to it. They can't support this. They are getting television deals, contracts. Vast majority of sports leagues get the bulk of their money from the TV deals. And the ratings for the WNBA are the highest they've ever been. And for the players to not be seeing those wages yet, it speaks to what type of collective bargaining agreement do they have? What is their representation as far as with the players union? Do they have the same type of rights and pull as these other leagues, or that's something they need to fight for? I don't have all those details right now, but I know I have a labor guy on this panel with me right now. So Calvin, any insight on the WNBA and what the contracts are looking like, and do they actually have some type of collective bargaining agreement which would help them in these types of negotiations?
So from what I understand, the league won't make a profit for year to year for the first time until next season. And that's will be due to with the collective bargaining agreement, with ticket sales, with merchandise sales, and with the media rights deal that they have as part of the league with ESPN, with NBC, and so on and so forth. So at that point, once their CBA expires, which I believe happens the year after next, they can then renegotiate and try to get a bigger piece of the pie, and that will lead to bigger salaries. But it has come to a point where you have additional leagues in the United States during the off season. You have the unrivaled league as well, so that brings in additional revenue. You also have the players that play on that play in separate leagues in LA during the off season. They have their own pockets. They have separate ventures, so they don't have to play in Russia during the off season like they did 10 and 15 years ago when Candace Parker and Diane Taurasi were going over there. So better days are coming. I just think that I don't want to say you have to continue to be patient, but you have to continue to build the league. You have to continue to drive eyes. You have to continue to warrant media attention and have people talk about you to get a bigger piece of the pie. Now, we've already seen, like, for example, the Connecticut Sun are being purchased by the new owner in Boston and moving to Boston as well. So you have a bigger market, and you're playing in. You could have the potential to play in a bigger arena as well during the summer in Boston. So they are garnering more eyes, they are garnering more attention, but they have to keep on building. So when it's time for the collective bargaining agreement, they say, "Hey, this is what we deserve based off A, B, C, and D. This is the part that we deserve, and this is why salary should go up." So it's coming. It's just the ladies have to be a little more patient until that CBA actually expires.
Okay. Justin, you got any thoughts on the CBA and the contract situation with the WNBA?
I'll tell you one thing: they better not sit out. You better not do
They
that.
ain't doing that. They not
That's
doing
one
that.
thing they better not do.
They ain't got the
They
leverage
better
to
not
do
do
that.
that.
They don't have that.
That's
They
what
don't
I'm
have the
saying.
leverage to do that.
Yeah, I know. Depending
Yeah.
on how they feeling, they better not
They
go that
can't do
route.
that.
Yeah, quietly protest, do what they got to do, and like you say, after next year, hopefully get their money. So
Throw some
we'll
shirts on
continue.
the court or something. About all they gonna do.
You sound terrible. Anyway, let's move on. So let's talk some baseball. Over this last week on this very program, we talked about the moves that the Orioles were making, and Cedric Mullins was the final straw. After we recorded, Mullins was traded away from the Baltimore Orioles, ended his time here as one of the longest tenured Orioles. A lot of people had some strong reactions to this, especially on my timeline. We're upset that the Orioles seem to have been thrown in the towel, and this comes after the Orioles had a nice little run there. They were putting some wins together, getting a little momentum. The yard was getting packed a little bit. People were coming back out. I know Calvin, you was there on a Tuesday when they scored like 18 runs or something like that, and people were having a little bit of excitement. And then all of a sudden they clean house, and they've been going on a little slide. I know they won the day, but losing Cedric, I think it demoralized some people. And then on last weekend, we coupled that with the Savannah Bananas come to town,
Selling out.
sold joint out. The energy was pumping in Cannon Yards both nights. They bring out Adam Jones, one of the most fan beloved players in Orioles history, taking me back to 2014. You know what I mean? 2013, 2014, when the Orioles was in contention for the pennant. And they bring him out. Cedric Mullins gets traded away a day or two before the only black great player, a good player we've had. And then the last great black player we've had, Adam Jones, comes out on Friday night. And I know a lot of people who I'm friends with, they're like, damn, look at this, man. Look at the pop that Adam Jones got in that stadium in a sold out crowd. And it just, the whole energy, the whole Savannah Bananas, it brought the fun back to the yard. Everybody was feeling good. And it's just like, damn, the Orioles just doing the towel. You go from making the playoffs last year, 2 years in a row, and now you look like you're starting over. What's your thoughts on all of that and where the Orioles sit now? Justin, I'll start with you.
So, yes, the elephant in the room is the fact that we need to get better pitching. I get that. I'm trying to be like not as somber as I'm feeling. Yes, we did get rid of our only black American player, and then we saw one of our best black American players a couple days later. I don't know if that was a slap in the face. I don't think it was intentionally done to make that point, but
I don't like it.
We have a young athletic team, but we're our base running is suspect. How right? So it makes me think it's more of an effort thing. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. And I think what the bananas team did was just show you that Baltimore does love baseball.
It'll come
Flat out.
out.
You're not going to sell out like that 2 times. It was Friday and Saturday sold out. Yeah. So you're not going to do that if the crowd doesn't like that, because they're traveling. So they can wait. It's not like they came down from New York to go see them. No, they're going to have their time too. So this was just mainly majority Baltimore, probably the DMV came out to see them play. And it showed you, like I said, it's a love for the game. Maybe you can take some of the things that they've done and incorporate it within your program. I'm not saying that you have to have an NBA team and we're going to go straight Harlem Globetrotters. No, there's a fine line in some of the things that they've done that you can put in maybe your halftime shows, maybe your pre-games, your post-games. You can be way more interactive with the crowd because that could keep them coming back. Little things like that. It's just sad that we are where we are. Like I said, I threw in the towel 2 episodes ago. But can they turn it around next season? Sure. The core is still under like 27th. The core is still there. It's just maybe leadership. Elias has got to do some work, man. Elias has got to do some work, and I don't know if he's on the hot seat. And if he's not, he should be. That's my thing.
What you think, Calvin?
Well, I mean, it was time to let some of those players go. Just in regards to they are not building blocks. Wouldn't be here next year, so you just try to get something in return for them. When it comes down to the attendance talk, I get sick of having that conversation because there was a playoff game here last year that didn't sell out. So don't talk to me about attendance and you say, well, if they were winning, I would go, or if they were more entertaining, I would go. They were in the playoffs last year and you didn't go. So miss me with all that other stuff. Find another excuse. To have Adam Jones and to have Buck come back and get the ovation that they did, and even Adam Jones his number gets retired this weekend, I guess. So
Saturday.
Yeah, so he's been
giving out bobbleheads.
Yeah, so he'll be in town, been in town for a week or so. So it's good to have him back. To have him back in the yard and hopefully kind of inspire going to next season this new generation of O's. But I'm happy that each of the players that they traded has the potential to win a ring. You got Cedric in New York. You got a couple guys in San Diego as well. So you got Urias in Houston. So I'm glad that those guys have the opportunity to win a ring. They were productive here. I wish it could have ended better here. But like I said, it was injuries. We don't talk about it enough how much this team was injured in the first half of the year and how that played a part in that record. We still have pitchers that were projected to be a part of our rotation that haven't pitched yet this year. So we had players on this team that hadn't played, that had missed a third of the year, and were worried about their record. They were injured. I do think that they were not injured. It would have been a different season altogether.
Well, you sound like Michael. You sound like Michael Elias right now.
I'm telling the truth.
Okay, so if it was just injuries, why'd you sell?
Because everyone that you traded was on the last year of their deal, except for the guy that went to San Diego. So
nobody you wanted to retain.
The only guy that you could say could return was Ryan O'Hearn. He still said he may come back. So you potentially got assets for him, got him a chance to get a ring, and then you can come back and sign him next year. Everyone else would have been a free agent this offseason. And you have their understudy, you have someone behind them that could potentially do their job plus more, and they're younger and under control for longer. And you still have people in the minors or players in the minors that can still come up and contribute that haven't come up yet. So I'm not opposed to what they did, but I'm just saying, look at the injuries, how many players missed games. Gunnar missed a ton of games. Westbrook missed a ton of games. Mountcastle's been out. Kerstad's been out. Cowser was out. Rushman was out. Everybody I named was in your starting lineup, or would have potentially was a starter, and they missed all 15, 20 games, and we're wondering why they had this bad year. It's mainly injuries, in my opinion. Now, they didn't have any pitching, but there's still those position players were still missing a ton of games. So,
that's all,
big. You found the glimmer. Yeah, I don't think you can't pitch, you can't win. It's just baseball.
Yankees can't pitch. They in second place.
Well, they didn't have the injuries, I guess.
Judge either.
And they ain't got Aaron Judge. They still in second place. So
he was there majority.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see if they're able to bounce back next year. But I definitely enjoyed seeing Adam Jones and Buck coming out. Buck was my guy.
Did you go? Did you go?
I went Saturday. I didn't go. No. I saw it Saturday.
Okay.
No, but it caught my eye, and I was like, "This is fun." You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's some fun stuff. But I'm going Saturday. That's what I meant by that. But they giving out Adam Jones bobbleheads, man. Yeah. I gotta be there.
Make sure they're 2 hours early. Them things gonna go.
Yeah. All right, next up, we gotta talk about some World Wrestling Entertainment to close the show tonight. SummerSlam was last weekend. A lot happened. At the end of the 2 nights, they did crown a new WWE champion, and his name is Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. He went back a little bit edgy. He wasn't completely babyface. What they did on SmackDown was probably the clunkiest
It was
Most
very
pathetic,
odd.
rushed, but it was necessary. I don't
It-
care
it-
what they had to do it. They
I
had.
agree. I agree.
Hey, accept it. It was
Uh,
terrible. You should have never turned the man heel. You should have just stayed with babyface Cena. Hey, cut your losses, put the man back
Go
babyface, and the match was better for it.
go ahead and
John Cena is just a
blame
better.
Dwayne Johnson. Go ahead.
John Cena is just a better babyface, and the match was wrestled better because Cena played babyface, Cody played heel, and they had great chemistry. I thought the match was good. I did not
The
think
makeup
it
of
went.
WrestleMania.
I thought it was way better than WrestleMania. I mean, that wasn't even close. But yeah, so in the end, Cody's the new champion. And then this man came out. Brock Lesnar comes down after people thought the show was ending. F5's John Cena. And we'll get into why this is so controversial in a second. But let's just talk about the main event itself, winner, aftermath. Justin, I see your face. I see your thoughts. I know you hate Cody. Your thoughts.
Never in my life. And I've seen a wrestling match where they just kick out of other people's finishing moves.
That's what they do.
Multiple times.
John Cena's whole career.
Super Cena.
Over 5 times for the both of them. Not just one. Not just Cena.
But that's how he patterns his matches. It's terrible.
No. As King said on We Talk Comment, we went from Super Cena to now Super Cody. What the hell do you have to do to beat Cody Rhodes? If John Cena was babyface John Cena and did about 17 AAs,
jeez,
from the top rope, it don't matter, and he kicked out of every last one of them. I mean, it's sickening at the end of the day. It's a plague running through WWE.
Damn.
And it needs to get cut off at the head. Pause. And that person is Paul Levesque. He needs to go, and then hopefully he can take Cody Rhodes with him, because this is it's a sickening plague in the WWE, and I'm just watching it. I'm getting sick just thinking about this particular situation. I digress. Go ahead, Cal.
So after we did the pod last week, there was a part of me that thought that Seth was going to cash in on this match, just because I wasn't sure of the schedule for Street Fighter, and I was like, it's a possibility that this happens. But I'm happy. I'm happy to see it turn back face on SmackDown, like you said. It was weird. It was clunky. It was kind of random. But to see that entrance at SummerSlam on Sunday night made it worth it in some aspects. You knew that Cody was going to get the belt back. Now it just seems like Cena's just kind of going to be wrestling one-offs after he makes his appearances this month and probably next month, wrestling people that he wants to face, i.e. Lesnar. But I'm happy for Cena to go out how he wants to go out. If this is how he wanted to go out, I'm okay with it, because this is about him giving one last full-time ride to the fans that have watched him for the last 20 years. So I'm not upset at that. If this was his plan, this is how he wanted to execute it, as whatever my opinion is of it, I can accept it, because this is how he wants to go out. This is how he wants to be remembered. And he tried the heel turn. It was odd. It had no support from The Rock, who needed to be there. That's a whole nother conversation. But to put the belt back on Cody, which was always the plan, and at this point, I'm okay with it. And the match is better. Like we said, better than WrestleMania. So
I think the match was better with babyface Cena. And if you watch Cena's most of his career, all his title matches were patterned pretty much just like that. Big move, kick out, pick up.
Right.
Close.
But he wins, though. He wins.
Exactly.
He wins.
Yeah, needed to lose this time, pal. I liked it. And I thought they did a good job. The crowd was in the palm of their hands. Cena was great, especially when he hit that the little sunset flip thing on the floor to kill the sunrise, and then he gave the look to the crowd like, I hit it. He's better as a babyface. He just is. Again, but after the match, Brock comes out, and after
the match, Cody was crying. You make sure you say that first.
Yeah,
After the match,
look,
there's no crying and wrestling.
as you said,
he
I
was in
apologize for
John Cena's
interrupting.
final title match.
Yeah.
He was in John Cena's final title match. That was an emotional moment.
My bad. Continue.
But if you've been following wrestling
Right.
Since 2002, maybe, these two have been two of the biggest stars. You got Cena, Brock, Randy Orton, CM Punk have pretty much been the faces of WWE over that 25-year period. Of course, you could throw in like a Roman Reigns, of course, later, but that era of WWE, that ruthless aggression, when Cena and Brock and all those guys were really coming up from OVW and everything like that, and then that 2010 period where every time Brock would come back, it seemed like he F5 Cena when he came back. It was like a running joke. So for them to have that moment, it was like, this is Cena's final run. He got to have Brock on the list in many people's mind. But if you know real life, Brock Lesnar has not been around in 2 years. He's been kind of
hanging out with Vince.
He's been like on blackball lists for a year and a half ever since the Janelle Grant lawsuit came out and allegations were levied. At first, he was not named directly in the original lawsuit, but people knew who they were talking about. They say former UFC star. Vince McMahon set up a meeting where he wanted to have a dinner situation to try to convince Brock to re-sign with WWE, and basically was offering up Janelle Grant as, icing on the cake to kind of coerce Brock or to re-sign with WWE. Had her send Brock videos, and Brock liked them and requested certain things, and said the text messages are all documented. But Brock never met with her, never did anything physically with her. So Brock was not named as a defendant in the civil suit, and she's not going after him personally. But because of his interactions and the things she detailed, WWE Legal decided to keep Brock out of action for a year and a half. A lot of the fans feel very strongly that Brock should not be brought back, that he should be held out. And then other fans are like, well, if he's not being named a defendant, the man has a right to work. How long do you keep him out? It's been a year and a half, but apparently 2 weeks ago, WWE Legal cleared him to return. So something changed. Janelle Grant's people put out a story saying, no, we're still pursuing the case. But a lot of people were speculating that a settlement is either coming or arbitration is going to be the ruling by the judge. So the lawyers felt comfortable bringing Brock back. So a lot of fans were outraged on Sunday night when Brock showed up. Some more fans had things to say on Monday afternoon. And then all of a sudden, the story kind of disappeared. And then all this WWE news that came out today, nobody's talking about Brock Lesnar. Hulk Hogan's funeral happened. Nobody's talking about Brock Lesnar. So at the end of the day, yes, people were pissed. No sponsors have pulled. The ESPN deal still went through. Life moves on. And Brock is still treated so differently than any other wrestler. Had Roman Reigns been accused of this, had John Cena been accused of this, I think you get a whole different litany of media attention on this story. But because it's Brock Lesnar, he started off like a meathead, like a Neanderthal type guy, hired gun. People like, oh, this is Brock being Brock. And I think it's sad. And no woman should have to been coerced or forced to do what the allegations are. So if that's all to be proven true, I think Brock Lesnar should not be brought back. I don't think they need him. I don't think it adds anything to the program. Yes, it'll give you a little nostalgia pop here and there, but WWE won't earn $1 extra by adding Brock Lesnar to their show. All it does is make women and fans who are against it mad. So to me, it has a net negative. Calvin, your thoughts?
I'm interested to see what happens beyond the Cena storyline. Like, was this just for John Cena's last or final tour? Is there anything else going to come of this? With Brock goes then WWE. But if the lawsuit, if his name was not cleared, he did not need to be back. I understand this is probably for Cena. I understand this is probably one of the items on his list that he wanted, that Triple H seems to acquiesce no matter what it is. But if it's going to alienate any part of the WWE fan base, which supports, and if you were at SummerSlam and you felt some type of way about it, that includes you, then he does need to be back. It needs to be a resolution. It should have been a resolution to this issue, because this speaks to, in my opinion, that is Vince coming back soon? Will we
that's what a lot of people say.
Will we see a
you
Vince
bring Brock back?
It may not even be him in the gorilla position, but he has to be empowered. But will we see him sitting ringside? Will we see him walking
in the
around
Hall
the
of
back?
Fame or something?
Will we see him in behind the scenes? Somebody gets a video camera out. Will he be? If he's back there, that means he was welcome back. So it's a slippery slope to what can happen here. And with the WWE now not having their post PLE news conferences, which was stupid in my opinion to begin with, but now all of a sudden you don't have one because of this issue, so you don't have to answer questions. And now all of a sudden you have this news story that kind of kicks it to the back burner, and now you don't have to answer these questions because we're asking other things up front. Then, that was part of the
shady business, man. It's shady business. Justin, you're frozen like you are every week around this time, so we're gonna let you talk, but you're not moving in anything. So just let you know your thoughts.
I'm gonna log out and come back. That's what I'm gonna do, but not right now.
Okay.
Can you tell the people what exactly did Brock Lesnar do wrong?
He requested that the young lady send him video of her urinating. I know this is not safe for work stuff, so if you're queasy, he kind of coerced her to, not coerced, he asked. I mean, she basically was treated like Vince's personal, you know what I mean, sex toy.
Favor giver. Okay.
There you go.
So all he did was request something from the individual that he thought was willing to do said thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that he didn't do anything criminal. And
no, he's not on trial or nothing like that. But this is unsavory.
It's optics at this point. It's optics. Yeah. It is a slippery slope, and if you're Brock Lesnar, you're thinking like you might think like. That's the stand you take. Like I didn't do anything that can get me in jail. I didn't do anything wrong. It might not be morale. Might not be the highest morale character, but I didn't do anything criminal. I didn't do anything civilly wrong. So why are you preventing? I'm asking. Like that's why I asked you first. That's why I asked to get it clear.
Prostitution ain't legal. You know what I mean? Like he was going to have sex with this woman. Apparently, the only reason why he didn't, he was too drunk, couldn't get it up. But yeah, that's another part.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's getting worse. Okay. Understood.
Yeah. So I'm trying to keep this as safe as I can for the podcast.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Because at first I was like, well, that's a little different, but no, he attempted.
Vince is accused of sex trafficking. Like that's correct. One of the accusations, and he was trafficking
Brock
her.
Is a John.
Yes.
Brock is a John.
Basically, he's the pimp. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad optics all the way around. But at the end of the day, I guess they said, the hell with it. Why not? I guess. We are talking about wrestling, and wrestling never had the highest morale standards.
It ain't clean.
Shout out to the divas, shout out to the puppies, and all those things. I mean, we're not going to forget what we were subjected to as adolescents, and we enjoyed every second of it. So,
not to cut you off, but you got to also realize who Brock is married to. Sable,
one of the prime ones.
She was the sex figure of. That's what made the Attitude Era jump off.
She was
shout out to Monroe. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, but once again, it just shows you that the WWE. It showed you that Paul Levesque himself. It showed you that they would do whatever they can to help you forget or to help aid in this case the fact that Cody is your champion.
No,
we're gonna add somebody else all together, and all you care about right now is Cena and Lesnar, and how far they go into that renewed rivalry. You are not thinking about Cody Rhodes. Thank you.
You are here. Picture video. All right. Well, the rest of the card, from SummerSlam, we're not going to talk about every match, but we after 11 o'clock. But after 11, around 11 o'clock, Justin Video just disappears. You know what I mean? So we'll keep this thing moving. CM Punk did defeat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. So a lot of people felt that match wasn't that great, but it is what it is. I thought it was solid. Punk was emotional. He was great. Yeah. He sold it like
he definitely sold it. He
sold it. But if you tune in to get off the damn fence every week, I told y'all.
We called this.
I told y'all a month ago.
We called this. We called this. I had a word back and forth just because I was thinking about the Street Fighter movie, but we called this to a T.
Okay, yes, we did. And exactly what they should have done, they did. Seth Rollins comes out. If y'all watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, remember that movie? And Willy Wonka comes out there with the cane, and he, act like, and then he drops the cane and start that. That's exactly what Seth did. That was absolutely perfect. I loved how he tried to act like, once I get better, I'm going to get that title. Turned around and leave, then he doubles back. Am
I better?
You say froze again. But
I thought he was blinking.
No, just joking.
No, he is,
Got him. Rules of the century.
Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, he comes down to the ring, hits my man with that. Oh my God, he clobbered him multiple times. Some of them were stiff too. And he is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Braun Breaker, who a lot of people thought got injured early in the night, he did tweak it a little bit, but he was clearly fine on Raw because the man was flying around there like he was crazy. But Seth wins, Punks gets screwed, has the shortest perfect title reign ever. He didn't screw nothing up, didn't get hurt, didn't hurt nobody, he didn't blow up on nobody like he did in AEW. And man, I loved it. That was a great way to end night one. And night one wasn't really that good, but that was a good ending to the night. What was your thoughts, Calvin?
It was very, very predictable on our end, but
sometimes predictable is good.
But CM Punk sold the hell out of it. I love the end, how he was crying, how happy he was, just the passion, the look of joy in his eyes when he finally accomplished his goal of winning the title back. And then when the music hit, and Seth sold it because you were thinking for a minute like, okay, you just let them know that he got it. And then when he got rid of the crutches, it was on. It was a moment, and you just called it. But I do agree, night one was the best portion of night one in my opinion. It could have been better. I'm somewhat tired of these 5-match quote-unquote pay-per-views, but it was just night one. But this was what we all expected. This was to happen. Now, this feud going to carry over to WrestleMania at this point. But Roman is coming back faster than I thought because he's supposed to be on SmackDown the 18th. I guess that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I was happy for CM Punk for the moment, and then trash destruct. So
it's Raw on the 18th.
Raw on the 18th. Okay.
Justin, your thoughts?
At this point, I've gotten past the morality part of the injury and all that, as I articulated in weeks prior. So once I got past that, I looked at that ring. I replayed it a few times, and then once it got, it definitely went viral right after that. I'll be lying to you if I didn't go downstairs in front of my wife and did the savior pose that Seth Rollins did when he dropped the crutches. I'll be lying to say if I didn't do it. So I was fully, once I got past it, I was like, that was excellent. It was excellent. It was. And that's sometimes you just want perfection, and they did it perfectly. He acted perfectly in that whole entire segment. That whole segment was perfectly done by Seth Rollins.
Yeah, like I said, he did the Willy Wonka, man. That was perfect. And it was a good way to end the show, you know what I mean, after a clunker. The opener wasn't bad. I enjoyed the tag match. It was good that Roman didn't come out on top, like looking strong. Jay got the pin. That was cool. And then especially following up on Raw and what we saw, that beatdown, and man, Bronson Reed, man, they are getting this guy over, man. Doing them splashes on Roman. Took your shoes again. He took them again.
I'm about to say,
I loved it.
It's the shoes, man. That man got his shoes taken twice.
I will say, if you can rerun your intro 5 minutes into the match, I loved it. Now Roman got his ass whooped for it, which was I'm glad that happened as well.
It should happen. But it should build up to
rerun it 5 and then have Roman participate. Look, I love that part. I love that.
I love that beatdown on Raw, man.
It was better than I
expected. That beatdown was perfect. I mean, that beatdown on Raw, that curb stop Seth gave Roman where he leaped over, that was perfect. So I don't know if they build into War Games, that Survivor Series or something, or I don't know.
Like War Games. I think it is. Well, War Games is basically Survivor Series, and
it's that Survivor Series.
By that time, So by that time. Jimmy will mosey on over, especially with Naomi being here, and hopefully that feud over there is just coming on SmackDown comes to an end soon, because I'm getting a little tired of that. But no, it'll be them three versus the Vision.
But I think War Games is typically 5-on-5. I think the Vision should add a couple more members, maybe one more guy. To round out the team. So
they just released a person I wanted on the team.
Oh, Austin Theory. I don't think he's released.
He would have been perfect, yo.
I heard he's not on the active roster, but that just might mean because he's injured.
That's true. That's true. All I heard was active roster. That is true.
Yeah. So I heard he might not be getting released. He's just not on the active roster because he might be out for an extended period of time. Let's quickly go through some of these other matches. I know the hours get late. Jade lost. A lot of people, including myself, didn't see that coming. A lot of people seeing this as a sign that they have lost confidence in her growth and want to give her more time to continue to mature before they thrust her into that spotlight, or they want to put her in that feud with Bianca, so she can learn how to work a little bit more in wrestling Bianca. So we'll see. I don't think that's the end for Jade. Some people kind of like write her off, like she's going to go do movies and more concentrate on that. I think she'll work on it and get better. She's an athlete. Calvin, your thoughts on that match?
It was definitely surprising, but I can see them wanting more from her in the ring. And I guess we all I expected more from her at this point, but I expect her to win. But I can still see how she needs to be a little bit more polished in the ring. I don't think you should pivot to the Bianca feud yet. I mean, you still have months before you can actually line it up for WrestleMania if you choose so, or even the Royal Rumble. But let's get her a little more polished as to where she can be better one-on-one, and then we can kind of get there. I think that's the end game. That's your top match right now is what everyone wants to see. But you have time to build it up properly, especially if you want to get her.
She gotta work better, man. I mean, I think she should be a heel. I really do.
I don't think that helps though. It does.
It gives you leeway to be more stiff in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you leeway for it.
But
anybody will tell you,
it's
harder to be a babyface than it is to be a heel.
But you're saying you want to be a heel so she doesn't have to win clean.
No, but you can win dominant. That's the point. When you're a babyface, you have to be a babyface in peril.
Basically, China. She needs to be China. That's it.
Yeah, before China was the China you consider. China was a heel and was learning. Like the key to being a babyface is you have to let the heel beat you up. If you let Jade get beat up, she doesn't look like strong Jade. She looks like a human. You have to show Jade as a badass. Like that's how she was presented at AEW, and that's what got her over. She didn't have these matches where she 99% of the match she get an ass whooped. And that's the problem when you learn, when you don't know how to play babyface, you resort to selling bad. When you're heel, you can just pound on people and be stiff, like you said, and it looks more impressive. She has to work with somebody who's going to bring the best out of her. And I don't think working babyface, that's the key. Because you can't call a match.
Now that you said that, I have issues with Tiff, because one, this is the problem they run into with the lack of house shows and things like that. You could tell they haven't worked with each other. Why? Because let's say when Trish, when Tiff did the Alabama Slam or whatever, she didn't know how long Jade was, so it looked bad. That wasn't on Jade. That wasn't really on Tiff either. It looked clunky when she did that moonsault or whatever, and Jade's had her feet up. She didn't know how long Jade's legs were. So
Jade wasn't supposed to put her feet up. You put your knees up. You put your knees up. You could have killed that girl.
You could have hurt that girl real bad, though.
She put her feet straight up. That was ridiculous.
Sometimes you gotta do that. I've seen it done before.
Not with a girl that tall, man.
You gotta get over that.
Tall for that. And then that sloppy pin in the ropes. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was purposely done. That was purposely done because of the Oscar situation. That's what that was. That was look, we called it this time. Hey, let's keep running. That's what that was. You can't tell me it wasn't. That's what it was.
It was terrible.
And Tim wasn't that great either. Let's talk space.
The blind can't lead the blind. That's the point. And Tiffany's better as a heel.
That's true.
Let's call that true as well. Tiffany was always a heel.
She still is a heel.
Her whole attitude was heel tainted. You know what I mean? Like, being a heel is easier. Everybody knows that. You know what I mean? But John Cena couldn't play heel because people love him. So people don't love G. So why not lean into
it? Not
it?
yet.
You know what I mean? Lean into it, and then they'll love you more. Same thing with Roman Reigns. Roman, people was like, bro, you need to be a heel. You need to be a heel. And as soon as you went heel and started being a badass, what did the fans do? Man, we love some Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? Like,
because it can allow you to be, you can slide your natural self in very easily as a heel.
No handcuffs, no expectations. That's
exactly what Roman did.
You don't have to let the crowd make the crowd like you. It's easy to be hated. You know what I mean? Like, if I ever was in wrestling, I want to be a heel. I want to be a heel first. I can talk shit. You know what I mean? That's the fun. That's the fun. Anyway, Jelly Roll. Okay. What y'all think?
Why did they change the ending?
Did they change it?
I thought they were originally supposed to win.
Nah, he said he wanted to lose from the jump.
Okay. I thought they were originally supposed to win and change it.
Around for a while. I think
he want to pay his dues, man.
Yeah, he want to be around for a while.
I think he'll get a singles match.
It was a spot of the night, though.
When he drank the man.
I got criticized as glazing Logan Paul a little bit. Pause, but that was a hell of a spot, man. Logan Paul is man. He's a showman, man.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it there.
For sure. I thought everybody did that job, but I just think case in point, Jelly Roll is a sympathetic baby face. You know, he took an ass whipping. That ain't Jade. You know what I mean? Like, Jelly Roll looked like he should be getting his ass whipped the whole match. You know what I mean? That's a difference. The tag titles, Charlotte and Alexa won. Nothing to write home about. Keep it moving.
Not surprising.
Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. I know Justin was looking forward to this match. Were you happy? Trash.
Quickly. Why do all this? Why do all of this?
For
all this planning, all this backstory telling.
And they didn't return it, right?
Not to turn.
He didn't do anything. Pathetic.
It's complete.
He got caught in the scene of the storm.
Yeah, okay. Triple threat. I thought this was very good. I think they put it on too early. They could have put it on later in the show. The crowd would have been more ready for it. But I thought the work they did was very good. Io is extremely talented. And Naomi took most of this match. I give her a lot of credit. She hung in there. But if I compare this to the triple threat they had at Mania with Bianca, I thought that one was better. But this was a good match.
Calvin? And that's the problem. Okay, go ahead, Calvin.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And I said that's the problem. They threw in that triple threat match, and it automatically draws comparisons to the Bianca triple threat. I don't like that. I believe she should have had more one-on-one matches between the two of them, and then have some type of feud afterwards. It was yes. I think they should have worked that just a little bit longer than just throw them in there and then here we go. But Rhea did get pinned, so that's cool.
Yeah. That's what I was
going to say. I was surprised by that.
They let Naomi pin Rhea. I wasn't mad at that. You know what I mean? That to me gave her more credibility.
I definitely brought that comment up last week that Io was going to eat the pin, but
you did say that. And I think that shows how they think of Io that they didn't want to pin her because I think she getting a match with Naomi this week, right? On Raw coming up.
Yes. So I think the single stuff is about to come. Rhea's going to come out and interrupt that match some kind of way. But did you see the shit talk between Rhea and Io on Raw?
Yeah.
You didn't beat me. You can't beat. I was like, go ahead and talk.
I love it.
Io.
I love it. Io don't play, man. And then Stephanie gets the winner of that match in Paris. So I love this division. They doing a good job giving the women really ain't bad. You know what I mean? This division here for sure. Cage match was trash. Let's call it what it is. Nobody watched that and was entertained. Be honest. You couldn't be.
They need to end this feud.
Yes,
in my opinion, I would have preferred if Fatu kept the belt when they end the feud, but it doesn't look like that. But they need to end this going forward.
It's Solo. He's not a good wrestler. He's a good talker. He should be a manager.
He's an excellent talker. I agree.
Or he should have stayed as just a meek. I mean,
like an enforcer.
An enforcer. Yeah. But to me, he's no Bronson Reed. You know what I mean? Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu will have a way better match. And another guy who's on this very team, if they actually let him go in there and wrestle, they call him JC Mateo.
JC.
Yo, he is great. They just treat him like he's just some lackey. I hate it, man. I hate it. Anyway, Dominic and AJ had a pretty good little match. I like that one. That wasn't bad. They're keeping it going. Justin?
No, it's AAA. Does that have any bearings to do with ESPN or anything? Just throwing that out there because I was supposed to bring it up earlier.
No.
Okay, understood.
Not yet, but apparently,
sometime soon.
Apparently, they might be putting it on YouTube. I think some type of deal with Google where they put certain things on like YouTube, kind of Evolve, AAA, because they actually, they partner with TNA. They might be getting them on CW. So they might be running TNA on either Wednesday night head-to-head with AEW or Thursday night where they've been. So that's interesting as well. WWE got their hands in so many pots. But but I thought this was
It was a good match. It was a good match. It was fun.
It was entertaining.
I love the ending. The ending was the best part. Yeah.
With the shoe. I like when they did the old Eddie spot and then both of them did it. That was cool. That was cool. I'm torn on this match. I thought it was well wrestled, but it was just long. It was so long. And her hand came out of the zip tie. I saw it. I know you saw it too. Yeah.
Look. After what Becky did on Monday Night Raw, no one cares about this match.
No
one cares about
it. Becky and Nikki Bella, that was
true.
the line of the century. When the last time you seen a line and the crowd got up and standing ovation like that? That was wild. She's hey.
I don't even want to see that match no more. I don't even want to see the match.
It won't be able to top it. I don't even want them to have.
I don't want to see the match. That should have been it.
Drop the mic.
One shot.
TKO. Yeah, and then the ladder match. Goddamn. To me, this was the best match all weekend. Like, what? I think Cena and Punk was good. The women was good, but this was nuts. I hated the winner.
I didn't go back and watch the whole thing.
But the action was phenomenal.
Yeah, you gotta watch the match. Just this match itself. I had to watch it twice. I hate the winner, but when I say that the spots now, shout out to Ray Phoenix and his splash. What's his Ciampa?
Tommaso Ciampa with the pull-up.
Use his paw and pulled. I said, "Wow, that's in the flow of the match."
Yeah, they tried that little edge spot.
Him.
Yeah,
was that faxing when they jumped on the shoulder?
Yeah, he almost got it.
Oh man, they did great.
Yeah. When everybody did this dives off the corner post into the table, and shout out to my man Angelo Dawkins for taking that damn move through the table off the. That I'd never agreed to
I
that.
hope he's injured to the point where he don't come back. Bring somebody else in.
That's terrible.
I hate Angelo Dawkins, Joe. I do.
Yo, you playing my man. The only black brother on pay-per-view. These two. That's pathetic. But
no. Montez is great.
Montez was great in that match too. I love when he job on them ladders like from nowhere. It was good. Very good action. Wrong team won. Just look at these trash guys in their outfits when they walk to the ring compared to everybody else. Everybody else conditioned, look like they ready for actual battle.
You forget it was like 4 or 5 of them. Shout out to the women's segment in that match too. But it's like 5 of them that was in the match. Like,
if I'm Johnny Gargano, I'm not letting my wife take that spot through the ladder. Like Candice LeRae, she might be like her back might be broke right now. That was pathetic. But this match, yeah, that was crazy. Good job. Finally put the tag team title on pay-per-view because they never on there. They always on SmackDown. But shout out to all these teams. Good time. So that's all we got tonight. Fun show. We appreciate you all tuning in. Any final thoughts, Cal, before we get out of here? I know we say this every week here lately. We running late, but we thank y'all for tuning in.
I ain't got nothing this week.
Yeah. Justin, anything? Good to go. All right, folks. Again, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Share the live, share the video, let your friends know. We had talked about it a lot tonight. And next week we'll be back continuing our NFL preview countdown. The Ravens had their first preseason game tomorrow, so I'll be down in the stadium giving you any updates on any news I know about what's happening behind the scenes. Have some inside reports, so checking in with some couple executives from the team, let you know what's happening with the Ravens. And we'll be back next week for another edition. Get off the damn fence. Y'all have a good one.